What's happening, everyone? It's Mike from the Hardcover comic here. Today, I wanted to talk about 5 Image comics that have recently come out that I personally have really enjoyed so far. A lot of issues, just a couple. A lot of series, just a couple of issues in. Very exciting stuff from a whole bunch of creators. I want to talk about those, show you some of the artwork, tell you why you should check these series out as soon as possible. Before we do that, real quick, want to mention organicpricebooks.com, your best place to go when trade paperbacks or deluxe editions inevitably drop for the titles we're about to talk about. There are 2 promo codes being shown on the screen. Use either one of them. One of them is if you're ordering 3 or more books. The other one's if you're ordering however many books you just want to use it. Feel free to use them. It really helps us. Really helps our sponsor. Of course, they're trying to provide us all with an awesome price on amazing books. Amazing customer service, fantastic shipping. You can pre-order on there. Can't recommend organicpricebooks.com enough. And now, let's talk about 5 new Image comic series that I can't recommend enough. First up, Kaya. This is a series by Wes Craig, written and drawn by Wes Craig. Wes Craig, I know primarily from Deadly Class. He is the artist and co-creator of the series with Rick Remender. Amazing, amazing, amazing artist. I love Wes Craig's work. I love his art style. I love the colors. I love his way of storytelling. And Kaya shines especially in that regard because it's him writing the series as well. A fantastic story that follows 2 characters, Jin and Kaya. They're 2 essentially orphans from a destroyed city that they're now trying to find a promised land that they need to go to in order to save themselves, save their people, and defeat the evil empire that destroyed their hometown. A really great set of characters. There's a really good dynamic between them, a really good back and forth. The series has a serious tone, but it's also relatively playful and has a overall lighthearted feel. I do still get the feeling that it will break my heart at some point, but for now, I've really enjoyed the first issue. Really, really fun story. I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. There's a lot of mystery around these 2 kids. There's a lot of mystery around the universe and the world that they're in. What's happened up until this point? What else can we know about this empire? What other species exist within this universe? What is happening with these characters? What is with Kaya's arm? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Really enjoying this series so far. Can't recommend checking it out. 1 issue's out as of this recording. I can't wait for more to drop. Next up is The Least We Can Do. This is a series by Yolanda Zanfordino and Eliza Ramboli. I apologize if I butchered any of the names. I'm so sorry. It's a great, great story. 2 issues out as of this recording. It follows a character named Uriel as she tries to find this group of individuals that can help her use this gem she's holding. To get a little more specific, this is a really cool universe that kind of reminds me a little bit of Harry Potter mixed in with, a bit of a Dungeons and Dragons kind of vibe to it. Really, really cool story. Uriel is this bright-eyed young girl who has a history that relates to the people she's trying to help. The universe she lives in, resides in, is this universe where the Empire has been upholding order for many, many generations, and there is a group of people that is trying to essentially break that balance and essentially restore peace to the world. The Empire finds that war and violence is the way to rule people, the way to maintain order. And so Uriel has a history with this empire, but she also has a vision for a future that has peace, that doesn't always revolve around war as a solution to problems. A very noble endeavor, something I think a lot of people growing up nowadays and people at any age really is something we generally try to strive for. Not everyone, of course, but for the most part, I like to think that people do. Maybe I'm hopelessly optimistic. Either way, Uriel shares this same optimism, and with this group of individuals she's met and their use of mediums, they can essentially work together to try and overthrow this empire, or at least change the way the world works. Mediums are these gems that essentially grant people abilities and powers. I don't want to give away too much about them, how people obtained them, what the histories of them are with certain individuals, but within 2 issues, you start to find out quite a bit about the characters involved in the story, the world itself, Uriel's background, what what her hope is for the future. It's a really, really lovable set of characters. I got really invested in the universe right away with issue 1. Issue 2 kept me very excited and gripped in the story. While, no slight to anyone, this isn't a groundbreaking story that changes comic book storytelling. It's a really excellently executed story that once in a while is an absolute pleasure to reread in a different style with a different format, different tools. Really recommend it. The least we can do, check it out. Next up is a mini-series, The Bone Orchard's 10,000 Black Feathers. This is going to be a 6-issue mini-series written by Jeff Lemire with artwork by Andrea Sorrentino. The creators behind Gideon Falls and a bunch of other titles. They work on almost everything, including the first Bone Orchard mini-series. Essentially, this Bone Orchard is going to be a universe of horror minis written by Jeff Lemire with artwork by Andrea Sorrentino, co-created by both, of course. A horror series, a horror set of miniseries in a shared universe that don't necessarily all connect together, but I'm sure will nod to one another in one way, shape, or form. This is my first mini that I've jumped into. I haven't read the original one, which I think was something Bone Mythos, maybe like that. I do need to go back and read it, of course. But I jumped in with this one. There are 2 issues in as of this. There are 2 issues out as of this recording. I've read both of them. Really, really enjoyed it. It's exactly what I would hope for and want from a Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino horror title. A lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, a lot of plot holes that need to be filled with very scary artwork with Andrea Sorrentino's slightly changing styles based on the time at which the story is being told. Very, very cool stuff. It follows characters that have had a very horrific past with each other and has clearly moved into the future with them, into the present. Very, very exciting story. I like the idea of this sort of shared universe. And honestly, having not read the first miniseries within this sort of shared universe, I can say I really enjoyed this one so far, and I'm definitely going to finish it. There's, as far as I can tell, no need to keep up with every single mini within the Bone Orchard anthology series, whatever we want to call it. But I'm very much looking forward to more of them, and I can't recommend them enough. Go check it out. Next up is a title called Flawed, written by Chuck Brown with artwork by Prenzi. Chuck Brown, you may have seen the name from the image titled Bitter Root, one of the co-creators of that series. What is Flawed? I don't know if it's a mini-series. I forget. I think I looked it up, but I forget what I looked up now, which kind of defeats the purpose of having looked it up. But it's a really, really cool story that completely took me by surprise. I wasn't sure what to expect. The cover looked interesting. I know Chuck Brown's name from Bitter Root. Figured I'd check it out. And it is a wild and fantastic time. It follows Jem Ez, who is a woman that's a psychiatrist by day and essentially a grade A badass by night. The vibe, the general tone of her character is a sort of Batman meets the Punisher, but a psychiatrist during the day, trying to genuinely help people and be a good person and help people through their struggles and their trauma. A really noble effort indeed, but sometimes you gotta take action to the streets, and that's when she comes out at night as an incredibly fierce character, an aggressive, badass character that gets down to business, takes names. I was shocked, completely floored by the series. I'm really looking forward to reading more of it. It can be a little silly at times, so the tone isn't super serious and dark every single page. Getting to see the kind of hope of the psychiatrist period of time, learning more about Jem as a character, where she's been in her background, how her family's involved in the picture, what her relationships are like with other people within her own life. Can she follow her own advice as a psychiatrist? There's a bit of social commentary within the book as well, sort of looking at predators and preys within big cities and big societies. Really enjoying it so far. There are 2 issues out, I believe, as I'm recording this. Read both of them, really enjoyed them both. I can't wait to check out more. Be sure to do so yourself. The last title is a title called Old Dog. A 5 must-read video with 2 titles that are written and drawn by the same individual. Crazy. Well, no, not the same. That have an individual doing both writer and artist duties. Old Dog, Declan Shalvey writing and doing artwork on this, a huge task. Declan Shalvey I personally recognize from his work with Warren Ellis on things like Moon Knight, Injection. Really fantastic artist in my opinion. Really enjoyed Declan Shalvey's artwork. This title has Declan doing both artwork and writing. It follows a character named Jack Lynch, a super, that's as Tom Clancy as names get, Jack Lynch, a former operative who for the past 15 years has been kind of demoted, working relatively terrible jobs for some reason that we don't fully get an explanation for. All we know is Jack Lynch has been kind of doing these relatively lame operations for about 15 years now after some incident that basically left him without a family. While we're keeping up with Jack in this, you get to find what's really cool. I'm trying to explain this, trying to talk through issue 1, but the thing is, the way this story is told is it's a real trip. You can tell that Declan Shalvey is a fan of these kind of intel spy sort of movies with the way they tell stories, mixing up different time periods to keep you on your toes as you're reading and being engaged with the way the story is being told. So you kind of jump between the future and the past, or maybe the past and the present, or maybe the present and the future. I don't want to give too much away. Hopefully that was enough of a trick there, but the story really unfolds nicely within the first issue. I really enjoyed the way Declan told the story within that first issue. There are 2 issues out as of this recording, and I'm very, very excited to see where the series goes. I don't want to give too much away considering there are only 2 issues out now, but there are a good amount of nice plot twists. I'm very interested to see where this goes, what exactly even happened to Jack Lynch in that first issue. There's a ton of mystery in this universe. There's a lot of conspiracy going on. It's got a really cool Jason Bourne kind of vibe to it. So if that's the kind of book you're into, it may, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how Declan does. If it gets to an Ed Brubaker sort of level, we'll see. But I'm very excited to see what happens with it. It was a nice, more serious book within the books that I've been reading from Image recently. Very much looking forward to it. And I love Declan Shalvey's artwork. It's fantastic. Can't wait to see what happens to Rottweiler and a Retriever. I'll leave it at that. That's the most spoilers I'll give. It's only 2 issues, but I want you all to enjoy it as much as I did. Those are 5 Image titles I very much recommend checking out if you're in the market for 5 new Image books to read. What are you reading right now personally from Image? What do you recommend I check out and the other viewers check out? Let us know down in the comment section below. Have you read any of the series we talked about? Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let me know what you think. Until next time, as always, thank you all very much for tuning in. You stay classy, Internet.